And here we go. Welcome everybody for a new episode of the mini-Zoom series, Confessions of a Facilitator. The mini-Zoom series dedicated to facilitators and their favorite tools. And for those of you who don't know what are the tools we are talking about, well, they are the tools of access consciousness. What is access consciousness? Very simple. This huge box with tools and toys. I kind of changed it on the way, where you go pick one or the other of the tools or more of them, how many you like, and you change your life like by magic. One condition though, you will have to choose for it. And today I have the honor, the pleasure, the enthusiasm and curiosity to welcome Doris Schachenhofer, certified facilitator with access consciousness, and so much more. So Doris, just before you get to speak, there are two things I have to mention. The rules by which we play.
Yeah.
We have two rules. Rule number one, we have fun. Rule number two says, when we fail to apply rule number one, we go back to rule number one. We have fun anyway.
Oh, that's really hard.
I know. And then I'm going to do it like dramatically. I'm going to look into your eyes, wherever your eyes are, and I'm going to ask Doris, who are you? And what are your favorite tools?
Oh, I love that. And you know, one of my favorite tools is to wake up in the morning and ask myself, who the fuck am I? and what grand glorious adventures I have. Every time I do this, first of all, you know, I start with a smile in the morning, because who asks this question to oneself? But we have so learned to define ourselves or to know who we be, and this is so important. There is so much importance of who are you, and or you know, I'm a social worker as well. And one of the things in my previous life, in that life, was to be authentic. I really there was a strong point of view there to be authentic, which means that I had points of view that defined my being authentic, and also with other people. If other people would, in my eyes, not be authentic, of course, I would have had somewhere in my world a judgment. See, she's not authentic today.
Oh, wait. And what would that mean, actually, being authentic?
Yes. It's like, now I know that being authentic is where you are being whatever is required in a moment, or whatever is fun for you in a moment, and that you are not defined by yourself, or you are not allowing other people to define you, you know, your parents, your family, friends that would say to you, this is not you. But who says that this is not me?
Wow, this is already so juicy. So you're actually authentic everywhere where you're not allowing others to define you.
Yeah.
How many times have you had that thing like, who are you? Like, you're not you. This is not, is this really what they are saying? Or are they saying like, hey, you're not behaving the way I expect you to?
Or how I know you, like where people say, this is not you, this is not how I know you. And it's like, yeah, it might be that you knew me yesterday or 1 year ago somehow different. Yes, and I choose something different, and I choose also to let go of my points of view, what I think I should be with you, for example, or with my friends, or with my partner, with my parents. And it can be simple things of like, you know, you always liked vanilla ice.
Yeah.
And people know about you, this is your favorite ice cream. But then on one point you choose something completely different, and people are like, you never choose this. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but now I choose something different. You know, it's these everyday things where people, and also these things of like, what is your favorite? What is your favorite color? What is your favorite film? What is your favorite? And it's like, you can tell, I love this. Of course, I do that as well. But everywhere where we limit ourselves with being authentic, what means having points of view, what that means, And then I can only live in my little box of limited, authentic me.
This is, wow. This, it makes me think of those TV shows where they bring in couples and they have to answer questions. So like blindfolded, or I don't know how, and they say, oh, so what's her favorite food? What's her favorite color? What's your favorite? And I'm like, I would always get it miss if I was playing with my husband next to me, because it wasn't me. It's more like he would give an answer. I said, no, it's not that. That's so long ago. And he would look like me like,
yeah, but then you need to be like smart, because you will want to win the play. So you want to go with what they expect from you, because we are smart. And then I would go with the expectation of other people. I'm like, okay, what do you need to hear? Oh, yeah, you tell me. You will say what you think is like, what you define me or what I've ever said, and then I will give you this answer. And that's true. But in our daily lives is where we limit ourselves, and then we put ourselves in this thing where we also are aware of what other people projected us. And this is where it gets like, look at every moment what's working for you. Do you need to like go and align and agree what other people require for you because it will work out in this moment, or go with what's right, what's light for you in that moment. And this is where I would look at being pragmatic. What does the situation require?
Wait. From who are you, we go to being pragmatic. So what is being pragmatic? It's like, I know, you see my eyes like, dum, 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 dum. So what is being pragmatic? What does this require from somebody? So when are people pragmatic?
Pragmatic is where you do what works for you, even if it doesn't work for other people.
You do what works for you, even if it doesn't work for other people. Wow.
You choose really what works for you, and you ask questions and look at where's the lightness coming up, what's fun for me. And this is so funny. When I first looked at being pragmatic, and I loved it. I so loved it. My brother said to me, but pragmatic people, it was interesting. He had this point of view that pragmatic people are always going it's always about them, what they think, what they choose. And I was like, wow.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
It was like pragmatic people, it's like they are always a little bit of selfish as well. There was an energy of like, it's then always about you and being selfish. But what is truly is that you allow yourself to create a life and look at what works for you, and not the effect of other people, not choosing what other people expect from you or project at you, and where you let go of this authentic thing, what you thought it means, like to be you, to be defined, that people can like also relate to you. It's so important that we think, oh, if this person knows me, then this is a friend and they can relate to me, and then we have a connection. And we can have a conversation of like la la la, because we too love this, and then we can go on from our to having a conversation for hours, because there's this element and this element and this element. And then it opens up, and you all have, and then you have this moment of like, what? And this was a big moment to come back to the authentic. I was like, oh, this was where I would trap myself, but also trap other people in my definition of being authentic. That was really important for me. That had a really big value in my world. It was like, if I want to get something right in this world, it's being authentic. And if I'm able to be so authentic, I'm a good person, and people will like me.
Yeah, that's so authentic and being a good person. How many times we desperately try to be the good ones, whether it's authentic, or in my case, it was for a long time, it was reliable.
Yeah.
So it was like when I discovered access consciousness and the 10 seconds increment of choice, it really shook up my whole world. What are you telling me, that I'm allowed to choose every 10 seconds what works for me?
Yeah.
I mean, so where's the drama? Where's the trauma? Where's all the, you know, all that, what I knew, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where I relate now to your brother, to the beginnings of my, you know, but I'm just demolishing everything here. With, yeah, pragmatic people look like they are selfish, or they are indifferent, or they are truth. Are they really indifferent or selfish? And what if being selfish was not a wrongness after all?
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know what comes in for me are kids, because kids would not hold on to a point of view. You know, they like vanilla now and chocolate later, and they don't have a point of view. Like, they learn that they should have, because they will be asked, so what's your favorite color? And then they are like, they are a little bit confused about the question, because they are like, what is this? But if you want any, I will give you that. You know. And with all of these things, and also the kids, if you look at kids, you could say these selfish beings or selfish little
brats, selfish little brats. I have 3 of them.
because they would like, they want to create a life, and they are like, oh, I decide this, I have this, I want this, I will ask you for that. But they don't come from a point of view it's wrong. They are just like, is the world here to receive everything? And then we would tell them, no, you know, there are rules and regulations, and you need to be like this to get this, and this to get this. And there we start all this stuff, what at the beginning is not there. It's also easy, you know, you just move through the world and say, oh, that's beautiful, I have this. Oh, mom, I love this car and that car. And do you think I can have 10 cars? And then we would say, I'm not sure. Are you willing to work that hard? This is what people would say. And I'm not sure you can make it. Instead of like, sure, if you like 10 cars, like, have them. So what are you willing to be and do to create this for you? And how much can you have? So that there is not like, this is the only choice, or this is what you should achieve. It's like, what is fun for you?
What is fun for, and thank you for this, because you were like, you know, I can sometimes be far from being a facilitator, and this is the whole point of this series, that to show people that, okay, we are facilitators and we commit to choosing more every day. And then yet, in my case, there are still these, you know, gray spots. Like, you brought in the children. How, what happens in my head, I don't know. But when it comes to children, and you were saying like, oh yeah, you tell your children, are you willing to work so hard, or you cannot have this because of it. It's like you're talking to me, like having no clue about what access consciousness and tools are. And we're really in the middle of that right now with my little one. He wants a laptop. And I know he's not going to give up this. It's just, I'm making my head like this, but
isn't it cool? First of all, it's so cool that you have the vulnerability to say, oh, this is a spot in my life, or area in my life where, you know, this is going on, and this is also not wrong, because then you can change it, and that's beautiful. And we are not perfect. Like, this would be also, this would be a judgment to say, as I'm a facilitator, I'm always using the tools, I'm always right, I always know like up possibilities. Being a facilitator is being willing to be wrong, being willing to use questions, being willing to reach out to another person, being willing to say, hey, you know what, this is going on in my life. Can we look at that? And and there is no perfection or no, I got it. I love when Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, said once, if you think you have the tools right, then you are at an ending point. Then you have decided this is how it works, instead of always being in the question every day and always looking at, okay, and when we start with who the fuck am I today, then I would not know in a way how this tool works. So today I can be curious again. Yeah. So how can I use this tool today? And what can I explore with this tool today? You know? And with our kids, what's so cool, what I love is if they ask for something, to invite them to create it.
Yeah.
To really invite them and say, okay, cool, you want the laptop. So what are you willing to be for that? It will not be me to pay the whole amount, for example.
Yeah.
Be to make it a possibility for you to have it, and to invite them to creation, and that they see. It's one thing is to have, what kids have of like, I can have everything, and also to add what am I willing to be and do,
Yeah.
to actualize it in my life, to really have it in my life. And
Yeah.
it's not on you as a parent of like, oh, my kid wants this and this and this and this, and I should pay for it. And then gets in a weird thing of like, my kid is, materialistic, or wants so much, or is
Ungrateful.
yeah, ungrateful. Of course, they are so ungrateful. And so what a different perspective is possible, and what questions are possible, and what invitation can we be for our kids, that they learn to have a choice. When we were in Rome now at a class, so one thing that happens at big classes with access consciousness is they bring so much jewelry like this.
Yes.
And it's like, I could tell a long story, but I was there with my daughter. She's 7, and I told her I want to go there so that she can look at it and even try it and see how it is. So this little girl went there alone within like 100 people, and would go and see, because I was busy with something else. And when I came into the room, she already had a ring on her finger.
Wow.
And that fit her. Really like this little fingers with all this jewelry for adults, and she found the one ring that was in her size. So she put it on, she would run around, I took pictures, she was so happy. And she asked me if she can have the ring, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Sure, you can have the ring. What are you willing to do for that? And she immediately went over to someone and said, can I do some body process on your body? Because this is what we offer as well in Access Consciousness. We work with bodies. And she knows that. And she said, if I do it on you, will you give me money? And it's beautiful.
Wow.
Of course. And immediately she would go into the room, lie down, she works on her, she receives the money. And she was like, yeah, I'm doing this for 3 days now, and I'm going onto the stage and tell people that this is my target and I want to reach this in these days of the class. And we talk about 3,000 euros. I told her, and she was so like, yes, I do that. And then every day on the following days, she made another choice. She did not do body processes. She would not go on stage. We would look at who could support her. She didn't want me to have. So she knew a person, and then she went over and said, will you go with me on stage to tell people that I want to create this? And every time they would stand next to the stage, she would not see anything. And she made another choice. And at the end, we flew home, and it was good in her world. And still, I know that something opened up for her of, there is a possibility to create this. It's not too big. It's not too far out. It's not too like, it isn't for me because I'm 7 years old.
Yeah. And it isn't because I cannot afford it. It isn't because this is not done in the world of most of the people. It's there. So if I really desire it, I can have it.
Yes, and there was also a part of, what are you willing to do? She was not willing to go on stage. She was not willing to like do body processes for some time, on these days. So yeah, at the end, she did not go home with the ring. And there was a lot of conversations, a lot of choice that she opened up, a lot of possibilities that she saw in her world. And also for me, I would have loved so for her to have this ring.
And now it's also a bit about what we want for our kids, and we want them to see succeeding.
And I was every day was like, will she do it? And I didn't see anything to her, but I was like, I would love that for you. But if not, what if you know, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So she had even more ease. She was like, okay, I didn't make it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And yes, I would have loved it. And she knows now there's a possibility. And it was an emerald. So it was not like any ring. It was really a thing. So yeah, it's a choice that we have. And what I love is to invite the kids to create with us. And it is not on us adults to have the money to
Yeah.
all of this and whatever. Sometimes it is about money, and then we know all the other things that's going on with being a parent with our kids.
I would add a little bit to this, in the sense of, as a parent, are you willing to see your kids fail?
Yeah.
And not fail, well, not in the fail like right, wrong failing, but not reaching there where you would like them so much to be.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have to clean your room. This is the topic right now in my world. You have to clean your room because, and all of the becauses that I'm putting out there do not resonate in the world of my oldest son. It's just,
He's
and
like, what?
And as you said, as a facilitator, we might see these things easily in somebody else's world. But when it comes to my world, one friend of mine asked me, Truth, why are you so bothered about that? And to me, it took me like 3 days to, what's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? Who am I when I'm doing, who the fuck am I when I'm doing this? You know? And at the end, I was like, I wanted to make it up to my mom.
Yeah. And shouldn't you be like this, you know? Shouldn't you be a mom that is looking that the rooms are tidy and that everything is fine? And what mom are you when your kid is like a messy kid? And all these things come up. And then if we add humor to that, because it gets a little bit serious then, especially parents' conversations, they get then serious and we make ourselves wrong and we want to get it right and what is the right parent and the wrong parent. But when we add humor, we can laugh about ourselves and say, oh my God, I'm so cute and funny when I put this on my son and I make myself wrong and I make him wrong and it doesn't. And then we have all this arguing and these energies of like wrongness instead of like, what is really going on here and what would I like to choose? And maybe also if I have no point of view, he would choose to do something that he's doing not right now because he's like pushed into something where he's, of course, as a teenager, it's like, you want something from me, you push me there, I will not do that at all.
For all the parents out there watching, humor might work. And what if you dropped your points of views? Those precious points of view, by the way, are they yours? But this is another topic.
But then that was amazing. Precious points of views. How much have you worked to have these amazing points of views that you now think, oh my God, who am I being when I let them go? And I've worked so hard and now you tell me I should let them, go away. And it's like, yeah, you can hold on to them. We don't tell you.
Yeah.
And if you want to if you really want to change something and have more freedom in your world, you might want to consider to just let go from your hard work and also acknowledge what you've created in your life. Wow. And oftentimes it's really not to our best, like my authentic story was not like the ones that contributed the most to me. And when I acknowledged that and saw, oh, this is what I started to do and put myself in and also project it on other people. Wow, what other choice do I have? And now I have so much more freedom. And I'm still authentic, but in a way of like choosing what works for me in every moment. And this is my authentic me, not the one where I've decided what it means.
Wow. Woo. Well, thank you. Thank you for, thank you for this topic on authenticity, which I know right now is like playing around. It's like sort of a theme around me. Who's being authentic and how many definitions do you have about being authentic? Thank you for this. And before I say goodbye,
Okay.
If people want to stalk you,
Yes, please. I love that.
obsessively look for you, where can they find you?
I love the
Doris.
videos like this. I love to be watched. So you can find me on my webpage. It's www.doris.schachenhofer.com.
I will write it down for those of you who are a bit dyslexic like I am when it comes to, yep.
And then with my name, you find me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube.
YouTube, cool. Thank you so much for this exchange. I'm like, cool. There's so much space around me with this. Wow. And thank you.
Thank you for to this conversation.
Wow. So, guys, until we meet again somewhere virtually or live, what if all of life comes to us with
ease and joy and glory?
Bye-bye.